Today on the channel, I want to take a look at shooting IRs from the XFX3. I think it's a utility that not a lot of people actually look into using. I think it's a wonderful utility. Actually, some of the cabs you shoot can come off sounding better than the ones actually that come native with the XFX3, especially if you have cabs lying around that aren't getting utilized since you bought your XFX, and you would like to get those cabs put into your XFX unit. I know there's tutorials on how to do it. I'm not going to really go into much on how to do shoot an IR, but maybe think about mic placements, which there are the studio standards for mic placements: off axis, side axis, 2 inches away, etc. I have a couple unique ways that I shoot my IRs so they sound more like the amp in the room. So everybody, it all comes down to personal interpretation when it comes to sound. But this is how I do my IRs to make it sound like I like them to be, and it works for me. And of course, my ears tuned to the 80s, so most of my cabs are going to have that kind of flavor. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Today we're going to shoot with a SM75 and a PR, Heil PR22 mic. I did try some other mics that didn't sound as well, so I'm only going to stick to those two. We're going to use 3 different speaker sets in the same cab. The cab I'm using is an ADA 212 split cab from the 1980s. It's going to be loaded with creambacks, greenbacks, and the original G12S speakers using the SM57. I do have a Beta 57 mic, but I feel it cuts off a lot of the low end frequency. Not the best mic to use for grabbing IR. So let's go ahead and take a look. I also wanted to tell you a little bit about what I was using in the chain when I was shooting these IRs, because you gotta have an amplifier to feed the cab when it makes a sound to come back around to go through the microphone and go back into the XFX. To not color the sound, I went ahead and found a solid state amplifier I already had lying around the house. So I used this in studios. I had it in studios for years. It's an Art SLA1. It delivers some nice clean sound. You don't have to crank it all the way up to get the sound. And I think it does a pretty good job of being neutral in the chain to give a nice, accurate capture of the cab. Simple setup, actually. I'm just using an SM57 in the front, just a little off axis from cone, and then I set up, as you can see, there's a mic stand around the back to grab the back of the cab. But then I'm doing something different. Is a lot of people want that amp in the room feel. Is I went to go ahead and set up a mic angled down at ear height at the cabinet to get some of the room and sound of amp in the room from another SM57 up top. And all routes in, and the amplifier I'm using to reroute it back in to the XFX, or actually to output it to the speaker, is an SLA1 from Art. Just a regular digital amplifier, no tubes involved, so it doesn't color the grab. Okay, so now that we've got those IRs down, let's go ahead and roll through them and see how they sound in the XFX. I'm using my 88 Charvel Model 3A with 59 and a JB in the back. And I'm going to start off with the cab I normally use on this setting, is usually the G1265s from Celestion. Their actual Celestion captures, which they sound. So there's your basic sound that I was using another IR from a different company, paid for IR. And now let's go ahead and flip it to my IRs from the 88 cab. I am actually going to start with the original speaker configuration that came with the 88 212 cab, which is the G12S50 speakers. There's 2 of them in there, and they're 16 ohms each. They're not 8 ohms. I saw some people quoting that they're 8 ohms. They're not. They're 16 ohms
each. Matter of fact, I have 2 sets of these still, and they're hanging on my wall, actually, on the backboard right here where the speakers, where I pulled them out of the other 88 cabs I had, but putting greenbacks and creambacks in them, so I hung the speakers that were in the original cab up on the wall. They are 16 ohms because of the way the laws of ohms works. You get 16, the way you wire it, 2 16s, you get an 8, etc. But anyways, let's go ahead and hear the original D12 S50s in the 88 cab configuration. So yeah, it's a little more beefy, you know. Let me just chunk on an A. Flip back over to that's Celestions. Oh, that's the. Oops, hold on, let me change. I screwed up and put a T75 in there. Let me fix that real quick here. That needs to go to the 65. Only take a second. Here we go. There we go. So now it's even with, as you can see. Still, being that, you know. I also just noticed that. Let's put this on 5. Should be -5. Not 40, I think it was. I'll go back and fix it if it's wrong. So let me flip it back to make sure that's even with the 590. Okay, let's go back and fix that. I don't like to run full wide open with the R121 Royer mic versus the 57 because most people are used to hearing the 57 live, so that's the mic I want to be the main mic up front. So let's go ahead and listen to that again. So there you go, and now let's flip back to my cab, which again, a bit more beefy, a bit more. So yeah, I like this. It's got a nice chunk to it that has over the Celestions copy. Now, keep in mind, I actually did this in ultra res, which the Celestions aren't done in ultra res. They're done in just a regular wave format that you can import into the XFX3. So let's try this in a lead scenario. Let's flip back over to the Celestion. And not that it doesn't sound good. It sounded all right. So let's go ahead and flip over to my capture. So yeah, the definitely tonal difference. Now, keep in mind that over here, as you can see, one of these cabs is I shot my IR at ear level, pointed, angled at the cab, like if I was in the room with the cab beside me at my feet, so I would get the sound of the amp in the room rather than just have a front mic and a back mic to try to make the sound, the two IRs come together as a sound. But I think that the ear level sound, I like it better. You know, I did take a shot of the back of the cab too. And added it with the SM58 shot of the front, which is only a ½ an inch off from center cone. And I like having the ear level sound better. I can flip it back and let you see what the back cab capture sounds. So this is from the back of the cab. Let's see, right here. But I think I like it better using the ear position myself. Let's flip it back to the ear position. Yeah, it's like it's more snap. It's more snappy. I definitely like that a lot better. So let's go on and move to the other cabs, the greenback and the creamback. And now check out the lead portion, kill the BB, and come in here. So yeah, I mean, again, it's even a little more. It's missing that funk I really like with the G12S's. So all right, now taking a look at the greenbacks that were shot in the ADA 212 cab. Let's go against the stock Celestion 1265s from Celestion's website. In your standard rhythm, and again, they sound good. They sound good. I'm not knocking them. Let's go over to the ADA with the greenbacks. Very similar, actually. Let's flip back again. That's very similar. Ooh, no, wait a minute. I take that back. Now, again, I tend to lean more towards mid-centric speakers rather than more bottom end or scoop because I grew up on 80s music, so my guitar sound is going to mimic those from the 80s, which were very mid-range focused. If you look at Eddie Van Halen, if you single out his tracks, it's the bottom end is not as heavy as you think it is because they're making space for the kick and the bass. When you're playing in a live situation, the same thing applies. You don't what you EQ in your earphones or your practice setup at home. It might sound great, but as soon as you get in front of the audience and you're playing with a full band, your guitar sound is just lost in the mix because you've the sonic space where you've EQ'd it. It just won't punch and cut through. So most of the live guys always bump the mids up, bump the mids up. So anyways, so there we go. That's Celestion Zone, and then back to the greenbacks. I would imagine you're not going to have any problems cutting through the mix with that. Let's throw it on a lead scenario. Again, that's nice and punchy. Again, I like the greenbacks. The greenbacks sound pretty good, but I still think I lean more towards the S series, the original speakers that came with these cabs. I think I really lean towards them. Again, it brings me back to the sound I remember from back then, even though I know greenbacks were still used at the time, as well as the G1265, which is why I've been comparing my cab IRs to the Celestion IRs of the 65 because they were used a lot back then in 80s rock music and in 80s lead shred guitar. So let's go ahead and let's flip back these speakers to the S configuration. So we're on ear, so we're going to go back to ear on that and then change this one back over to half off the dust cone. And then we should be back. Now let's go ahead and have some fun. Being got that, let's go back to my rhythm channel here for this. It's kind of funny. You never know what you're gonna play because you don't want to get flagged for copyright props. So I also created this to help me get that 80s feel. Somebody on one of the Fractal forums was giving tips on how to do a BB Sonic Maximizer emulation using the PQ. I went ahead and set that up here. If you can see right here, my settings, 'cause it's just a slight curve and a dip down to bring out the highs and bring out some of the lows, but not step on the bass frequency or get too shrill. So let's go ahead and put that into the rhythm. Nice. I even accentuate some of the punch and add some crisp in there. Let's hear that with also the lead channel. Let's go ahead and enable that PQ. Of course, it boosted the volume up a little bit, but you can always compensate. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty nice. I like that. I do like that. And actually, we accentuate maybe some of the harmonics. But yeah, I think that'll be my main sound for a while. I really do dig that. I mean, even the punchiness, even on the rhythm channels, you know. But yeah, I dig it. So, anyways, there you go. Hopefully, it helps somebody out. My IRs are available on the Axe Exchange. If you search ADA and look under cabs, you'll see me. Look for Author HDS. I posted all the speaker configurations I shot out there, including the back of the cab, in case you want the back of the cab. But the front of the cab is going to be the half-inch from center cone, and I did post the ears as well. I recommend mixing, again, the blend of the ear and the half-inch cone. I think it's got a great sound. That's what I'm digging. Again, everybody's ears is subjective. You know, we all hear things differently. But to me, and what I remember back from the 80s is this sound. So, you know, when you're like playing White Line. So it has that. Of course, I'm in the lead portion. Hold on, get the rhythm here. Slopping it up. Hold on. But anyways, you get the picture. Definitely usable. I love it. I'm surprised just using one mic. I don't have a mic robot or anything moving it around. I did it by hand and by experience of being on stage and where I placed my mic for a live show, and that's where I like putting my mic. For years is what I've done. So hopefully you're able to use it and get some good sounds. if anybody's interested in my preset for Access Effects 3, I can always upload it. But really, it's just a modification I did to Leon Todd, his settings that he posted up there for the Friedman. This is just the Friedman amp, which Leon Todd posted. Just a little tweaks here and there, but pretty much, it's pretty much dead on to what Leon would have had. I did a couple things with the chorus and the delay, and add some comp in there to help bring out some of the harmonic content of the leads. And also my clean is a little bit different. It's a little bit more like Def Leppard's. That chimey 80s chorus that was going on back then that was very popular. So anyways, there you go. Have fun with it. See you next time. Enjoy.